Hey guys, welcome back to another pickups video, this time for the month of April of 2015. A pretty interesting month for me because I picked up a lot of hardware related stuff and also a lot of gaming related stuff that are not necessarily games. So I only have a handful of games that I'm going to save for the very end of the video, including new releases for April. But I'm going to start right away, no saving the best for last. I'm going to start with my big ticket item of the month. And that is none other than the limited edition Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask new Nintendo 3DS. A system that got sold out right away when it was announced. It sold out within 15 to 20 minutes here in North America. But oddly enough, there was a re-release of the system. I'm not really sure what the hell happened, but I read online that Best Buy was restocking these, this limited edition. So I was reluctant about getting this because on one hand I'm a huge Zelda fan and I really wanted the system, but on the other hand I don't feel like the new Nintendo 3DS really warrants an upgrade if you already own a 3DS XL. The improvements are nice, the new 3D effect and the new improved CPU power of the system. There are interesting upgrades, but not necessarily enough to fork $200. But I'm a huge Zelda fan and I've heard of this restocking of the system, so I went to my local Best Buy late in the afternoon, not really caring too much if they had this on stock, and lo and behold, they had 1 unit left out of 5 because I asked the manager just out of curiosity how many units they had, and they had 1 left, and of course I'm weak and I bought the the limited Zelda edition. And it's a really nice system. You guys probably know the upgrades and what's new in the system. But I'm pretty happy with the purchase because this is my first limited or special edition console or handheld ever. I always own just regular stock consoles and handhelds. So I'm pretty happy to have this. And as far as I know, stores keep restocking this every now and then. So don't fall for the overpriced, eBay prices out there, and keep an eye on the inventory of your local retail stores here in North America, at least. Also, I have to say one very big negative thing. I did buy a 32 gig memory card to upgrade my old one, and this one has micro SD cards, and the process to change or to swap the micro SD card is a little bit cumbersome because you have to have a Phillips screwdriver, you have to take out the bag, you have to take out the new memory card, put the new one in, and do the whole transfer method. It was a little bit of a pain in the butt to set up this, but I finally have it and I'm glad to have it on my collection. Another hardware or new system that I added to my collection, this is an old new system, and by that I mean I finally got a new PlayStation 3 system. The old fat 80 gig original PS3 system that I had was on its last legs. It was shutting off by itself. So just to prevent more problems, I decided to buy a new one. I was due for an update because I had my original PS3 for the longest time. And as you guys know, I'm a huge fan of the PlayStation 3. I have a huge collection. I have so many games, and obviously my biggest backlog is for the PlayStation 3. So definitely went out and bought one finally. Best Buy had the PS3s on discount. This is the 500 gig model that doesn't come with any games or anything like that. It's just a system and the controller, but it was reduced to $199 from $250, which in my opinion it's still a little bit overpriced considering it's an old system, but what can you do? I used a lot of my reward zone points just to minimize the impact on my wallet, but very happy to have a PlayStation 3 again. And this is a super slim version, which I've heard is not the best, but so far the system seems to be working just fine. It's a pretty light. The durability of the system seems a little bit flimsy in the build itself, but a lot of people were complaining about the noise and things like that. So far my experience has been good with the system, and it's not like I have a choice. If you go to a retail store, this is the version of the PS3 you're going to buy, or you're going to find. So very happy to have this, and just like the new Nintendo 3DS, I do have to say the transfer process from the old PS3 to the new one, my game saves and all that, was another major pain in the butt. It took me 1 to 2 days to transfer everything. I'm glad I'm done with that, but I don't recommend anybody going through that pain. It was really painful. It takes a while, and it's just annoying. And continuing with the hardware stuff, no new systems in here. Oops, I have my Mario Kart gamepad here on the background. No new hardware stuff, but this is hardware related, if you want to call it that. And I got a casing for a 2.5 SATA hard drive. What this is basically, my original PS3 was an 80 gig model, and I upgraded the hard drive to a 1 terabyte hard drive. So what I did is, I took that 1 terabyte hard drive and put it on my PS4, and I took the 500 gig hard drive that came with the PS4, put it inside this casing, and now I'm using the 500 gig hard drive from the PS4 into my Wii U, because I have the deluxe edition of the Wii U, and 32 gigs, it's just not enough. I do have a bunch of virtual console games, eShop games, and things like that, so I was in dire need of more storage for my Wii U. So now my Wii U is souped up, because it has a 500 gig hard drive. I can download a crap ton of stuff. I'll never use 500 gigs on that system, but yeah, this is it's a pretty good alternative if you guys have the the portable SATA or SATA, however you pronounce that. If you have old PS3 or PS4 hard drives laying around, this casing was only like $6 on Amazon, and it already comes with a USB-Y cable, which is required to make it work with the Wii U. And luckily enough, the Wii U has 2 USB ports in the back, so it needs 2 USB ports to power the hard drive. But like I said, this already comes with all the hookups and things like that, so pretty happy to have my Wii U ready for any event, especially now that the Wii games are available on the virtual console, and they have pretty big file sizes. So now we're gonna move on into the non-game still. It's gaming related stuff that I'll show you here, guys. I'm not any longer an Amazon Prime member, so in order to get free shipping, I decided to buy something else along with that hard drive casing. So I decided to pick this book up, which is something that I had on my wish list for the longest time, and it's the History of Sonic the Hedgehog. It's a pretty nice, colorful book. It has not dropped in price. I had it on my wish list on Amazon for the longest time, hoping that it will drop down in price a little bit. This is the paperback edition. It's not the hardcover edition. So this is a little bit cheaper than your usual hardcover edition, but I'm pretty happy because the contents are the same. And this book is fantastic. I'm going to do definitely a book overview on this because it's a very colorful, very full of resources. And for a Sonic fan out there or a Sega fan, this is a must-have in my opinion. So keep an eye for a book overview video regarding this book because it's fantastic. And keeping in line with the books, magazines, and all that, I got my latest Nintendo Force magazine in the mail. I'm a subscriber, and I did the Kickstarter to support the 3rd year of the magazine. Pretty good resource if you're a Nintendo fan. This is basically the spiritual replacement of the Nintendo Power magazine, and it's a very high quality publication in my opinion. If you guys have not checked this out, I highly recommend it. I think they have yearly subscriptions running for like 20 to 25 bucks, so highly recommend it. And they all come with posters, like there's a Zelda Majora's Mask and there's a Mario Party 10 poster, so pretty nice magazine, pretty good quality. Happy to be a subscriber. And before we jump into the games, amiibos. There were no major amiibo releases during April, but one of my friends here on YouTube, Leo Oliveira, he hooked me up big time. He got me this thing right here, which it's from the Nintendo World Store. He was due to work, he had to go to New York, and he was shopping around the Nintendo World Store, and he got me an amiibo that I was not originally intending to getting, but nevertheless I have to thank him because this is one of the rare ones, and we're talking about none other than Gold Mario here. A pretty cool looking amiibo, which is not, nothing great in the sense that this is just the regular Mario Party 10 Mario amiibo, but with a coat of gold paint. But as you guys know, this is a very limited run. It's going up for a pretty penny up on eBay, and he insisted. Leo was like, I have an extra copy that I bought off the Nintendo World Store. If you want to have it, let me know. And he hooked me up in the price because he sold me this basically at a loss because he shipped the the material for me. And it kind of goes back to his, Goodwill amiibo video in which, he got hooked up by Dustin Christ with the Wii Fit Trainer amiibo. And now he's helping me out with the Gold Mario amiibo. So it's kind of like a chain of goodwill around here on the YouTube community regarding amiibo sharing and trading and things like that. So I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Leo. Go out and check out his channel, thefunnynerd.com. I'm going to leave a link below because he has a lot of quality content. And he did a great deed for me, sending this Gold Mario amiibo, and the presentation is impeccable with the shopping bag and everything. So once again, thank you so much, Leo. I'm definitely keeping this on the box because I will get the regular Mario amiibo. That's the one I'm going to be opening, but this is one of the rare ones. I think I'll keep it on the box. There's no reason for me to open this. So thank you so much for that. And let's see, now into the games finally. Not a whole lot of games this month. I did get 2 new releases, and let's just dive right into it. As you guys can probably guess, I got the new Nintendo 3DS, and I got the one and only new Nintendo 3DS game released so far for the system, and that game is Xenoblade Chronicles 3D. A game that you guys know me, I've talked about Xenoblade Chronicles so much in my channel because it's one of my favorite games of all time. In my opinion, one of the best RPGs of all time, definitely. And I'm obviously a big fan of the Wii version of Xenoblade Chronicles, and I could not pass up the 3D version of Xenoblade Chronicles. It's the only new Nintendo 3DS game because it does need that extra CPU power from the new Nintendo 3DS to work properly. And I put a couple of hours already into the game. As I'm going to mention in my impressions video, there's a downgrade in terms of graphics, but nevertheless, the performance of the game is still very impressive, and a very interesting game because even though it's a console game, it lends itself to be a handheld game because it has almost like a save state system that you can save the game at any time. So it does have that portability element to it where you can play for a little bit, 15 to 20 minutes, save your game, and then pick up and left where you pick up and play where you left off. So surprisingly enough, a decent handheld RPG, if you want to call it that. And obviously, highly recommend it. If you guys have never played this game, go out and get it. Although, if you guys have the possibility of playing this on your new 3DS or the Wii, I would probably recommend getting the Wii version just to experience the better graphics and the look at everything on the big screen. But pretty happy to have Xenoblade Chronicles 3D, one of my favorite RPGs of all time. Another new release, that it's a new release of an old game, and we're talking about a PlayStation Vita port of Child of Light. This game saw a physical release on Europe, but not here in North America, and oddly enough, it got released during April of this year. I'm not really sure why or who approved the release of the physical release, but I'm happy because I prefer to have my games as a physical, thing on my collection. And I do not have Child of Light. I was very tempted to download this game when it first came out, and this is one of the weird occasions where I was drawn not by the gameplay, not by the story, but by the graphics. This game uses the UbiArt engine that powers the Rayman Origins and Rayman Legends games. So this looks fantastic, and it was the graphics themselves, the graphics engine, that really drew me into the game. But as far as I'm concerned, it's supposed to be a decent RPG that borrows some elements from the Grandia games on the Dreamcast, as far as the combat system and things like that. So I'm looking forward into it. I'm not going to play it right away, but I'm pretty happy to have it. And this is obviously the physical version that comes with nothing but the game card. But Best Buy has it for 20 bucks, I think, and then if you're a club member, you get 20% discount. So pretty happy to have this RPG into my Vita collection. And now I'm going to show you guys two more games that are older games. One I got through GameFly. They were having a pretty good sale on used PS3 games, and I got Escape Dead Island. This is supposed to be a pretty bad game, but I figure I have all the Dead Island games on the PS3. I have Riptide and the original one, so might as well get this one. This is a third-person game, I believe, as opposed to the first-person nature of the first one, and it does have a cel-shaded comic book-like type of presentation to it. Again, the reviews really hit this game really hard, but I'm curious to see what the game is all about, and it was available for dirt cheap, so why not? And lastly but not least, for the physical releases, we have Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D. Target here in North America, during a weekend, they were having a promotion on first-party Nintendo titles on the 3DS. So I got this for 15 bucks, which I think is a pretty damn good deal. As you guys know, I already talked about the Donkey Kong Country Returns series. I'm not the biggest fan of, I'm a huge platformer fan, but I'm not the biggest fan of the Returns series of the Donkey Kong games. I much prefer the original trilogy, but nevertheless, these are quality titles. They're pretty fun to play, and I never finished the Wii version of this, so I think this is gonna encourage me to go back and play the handheld version of the game, which is a little bit of a downgrade. It doesn't have that 60 frames per second gameplay, but nevertheless, I couldn't pass this up for the price that it was being offered. So pretty happy to have it on my 3DS collection, Donkey Kong Country 3D Returns. And as far as digital content, the usual suspects, the PlayStation Plus games that are free during the month. But I also got the DLC, the new DLC for Mario Kart 8, which looks fantastic. I've been playing that. They have the new Animal Crossing tracks and things like that. So just another quality DLC release. I'm really happy with how Nintendo handled the DLC for Mario Kart 8. And I'm crossing my fingers that at E3 they're going to announce more. I'm really hoping that they will add more content to Mario Kart, because the amount of detail and just love that they put on these extra content and extra tracks and things like that, it's really remarkable. It's just a joy to play new tracks and looking at all the details that they put in the tracks and things like that. The cameo appearances and things like that. So Mario Kart 8 DLC, fantastic. And Nintendo also, they have now the DS and Nintendo 64 games available on the Wii U Virtual Console. So I did get Super Mario 64 for the umpteenth time. It's a classic, so I had to buy it again. It's a game that I already beat on the original Nintendo 64. I got all the 120 stars for it, but it's time to play it again. I played it on the Wii Virtual Console, and now I'm going to play it again on the Wii U. It's one of the staple 3D platformers that it has not aged as well as we were all hoping, but it's still nevertheless a quality 3D platformer. And I also redeemed my 2 games out of Club Nintendo. I think I already said this on my previous video, but I got F-Zero for the Wii Virtual Console, F-Zero X, and Doc Louis Punch-Out, which is a Wii Virtual Console exclusive for Club Nintendo members. So I decided to use my points to get that exclusive game, which is for Punch-Out fans like me. It's something that something interesting to have, because the only way you can get that game is through Club Nintendo. So that's it for now, guys. As you can see, a pickups video loaded with hardware stuff. So hopefully next month I'll be back to normal with just games, because my wallet cannot handle too much. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all later.